Welcome back and buckle up because we've got 3 exciting new features to show for Hex. For the first one, I'd like to direct your attention to our GitHub, github.com/PageKey. We have a bunch of stuff on here. If you go to Hex Apps, click on that little guy, and then here you have all the code that we'll see in this video. Now here you can see I'm logged into an actual PageKey unit, soon to be renamed to HexBox. Anyway, physical hardware that can sit in your house and run this guy. And if we run Hex, we have some new subcommands. I'm going to start out with clear, which actually clears out any state that Hex may be storing. So it clears out this .hex folder in your home area permanently. So we're starting from scratch as if you've never done anything before. Now if we run hex ls, you'll see that there's nothing there yet. So how do we get something? Well, we could figure out how to clone these files down ourselves and put them in the .hex folder and all that stuff. But instead, we can now do hex add source. We'll call this source PageKey. And it's going to come from github.com/PageKey/HexApps, the one that I just showed you. And it's been added. So if we do hex list, there we see the source, we see the commit SHA for the latest commit, and we see the origin. And if you look in the .hex folder in sources, you'll see it there. It's been cloned down. You have all these files here. So that's a great start. Now say we wanted to install the Assistant app. All we have to do is install PageKey/assistant, and it's going to reach into the repo we just cloned down, and it's going to look for that app.yaml, and then it's going to make everything in that folder available. So now that we did that, we can do hex ls, and just like we did in the previous video, now we have this assistant contract, we have an Ollama assistant and Echo assistant, and we have Oliver and Eli, which are the renamed versions of each particular assistant. And you'll see that the source code for this looks quite different too. So let's run something on these 2 assistants, and then we can look at the code. Let's start with Eli. He is the simpler of the 2. So if we do hex run Eli, it says you have to provide a method. If we look in assistant, it's changed a little bit. We can do chat, we can do start, we can do stop, we can do status. So let's check the status of Eli. Let's ask him how he's doing. He's ready. Okay. If I say start, I think he was always ready. He's born ready. Even if I stop him, he is still ready. You cannot get Eli down. Okay, so let's run chat on Eli. So we're going to run Eli chat, and it's going to say that we need a prompt. No problem. We'll provide that prompt, and we'll say, hello, Eli. How are you? And we get our echo response. Perfect. So how does that all work? Well, the assistant defines the contract, start, stop, status, and chat. The app doesn't define too much. Maybe we should combine those. Echo has the provider. So echo is one particular way of fulfilling that assistant contract. And it requires you to define a model name, it requires a Python executor, and it has chat, start, stop, status. So each of these scripts run, and they are passed to the inputs from the contract. So start, you literally just print done. These don't do anything, if you couldn't tell. Chat, all it does is grab the model name from the state, and it grabs the prompt from the input, and then it prints what you said. So let's do the more interesting one, the Ollama guy. If we run hex list, remember that Oliver is an Ollama assistant. So let's say hello to Oliver. So we'll run Oliver status first. Let's check how he's doing. He's running too. I didn't think he would be running, but okay. I guess we can just go ahead and chat with him. So we'll say, well, let's just let it fail. Prompt, okay. Prompt is going to be, hello, Oliver. How are you? Maybe he'll have something more interesting to say. And full disclosure, that was like 4 minutes. And there was no indication of progress, so plenty of room for improvement. But we did get a response, and a very literal one at that. Oliver does not have feelings, so do not think for 1 second that he has feelings. It's good. I'd rather it say that than try to convince me it has feelings. All right, so what's next? Well, you saw both of these. We can dive into the code briefly and see that what's going on is first it pulls the model, just like before in the previous video, and then it calls generate. So it's using requests, and then it just prints the response. So the point here is not that this is fast and really easy and all that stuff, but if you wonder, hey, where's my data going? Hey, how do I check how this works? It's all right here. You're just calling, web URLs, and then you can check what the base URL is for Oliver here. In this case, it's localhost 11434. And you have start, stop, and status, where you can see exactly which container is starting and stopping. So there's really a whole lot of transparency, and you can dig as deep as you would like to. Now, if we call podman container ls, we can see Ollama's running, which is why he showed as running Oliver. Now, if we run hex run Oliver stop, it's going to run this script where it's going to stop and remove Oliver's Olama container. And there you go. So if we run ls again, it's gone. And we're going to have a hard time chatting with Oliver because he has nowhere to chat to. Eventually, I want to be able to pass this container as an object into Oliver. That's where the real power of this architecture, I think, gets unlocked. But that's just foreshadowing for the future. That's it for now for the assistants. Last piece of the demo, let's look at the website here. It's another app, so I'm going to have to, I'm going to clear everything out so that we only see what we need to see, and I will add the source again, and I'll hex install PageKey/website. When I do that, we get the website contract, we get a caddy website, and we get a home site actually. So let's look at each piece here. The caddy website, well, first of all, the website itself only has start, stop, and status. Then the caddy website has start, stop, and status fulfilled by these 3 Python scripts. And then home site fills in the values that it needs. So it needs a container name, an image, port map, and a path. So home site uses caddy, which is a web server, and the port map is 8080-280, and then home page key is the path that it's going to host. Now start is going to be the complicated one. It starts that container and mounts that path as a volume into SRV. It's going to run with that container name and the port map, the caddy image, and it's going to run caddy file server. It's going to tell you that the root is where we just mounted your file system in. It's going to listen on port 80, and it's going to allow you to browse the files. So we'll see that in 1 second. Status just checks that that container is running. Stop just kills that container. So if we run hex run home site status, it's not running, so we can start it. Looks like it started. Status, it's running now. And so now we can go check it out in the browser. Okay, I went to the IP address 8080 of my unit that I'm running this on, and you get a nice pretty website hosting the home folder, and you have the hex executable that I've been running this whole time. You have .hex, which has apps and providers and all those different things. I wouldn't recommend doing this because you're also hosting your SSH folder with all your keys and everything and your whole home area, which is not secure, but it's an example of how easy it can be to start up a website and host your own website. So in future videos, I'm hoping to make this something that makes it really easy to host your own website. We'll get there. For completeness, I'll quickly run through the slides. This is the week 8 update video of the devlog. So if you like this, you can follow on YouTube or join the email list. And I'll give my spiel that the whole point of building this is a small, local, understandable cloud alternative to make tech understandable and controllable, because people are tired of feeling like they give all of the power away for their tech life to the cloud and to big tech companies that update apps without telling you. So what if you could just control that yourself? It'd be great. This matters. I think education is the most important part here. People need to understand the tech that they use every day. It gives them control and they can be self-reliant. And then if we all do that and we're nice to each other, then everyone will prosper. So goal of these series is consistency, not perfection, which is why this video is so rough around the edges. Anyway, something useful. You already saw this. We have add source, we have Olama, we have Echo Assistance, and we have a first attempt at a website. The whole architecture is starting to stabilize, which is very exciting. What I worked on this week, exactly what I just said. What's next? Easy website creation and hosting, I think will be cool. I can host the PageKey website on this new version because it's hosted on a very, very old version of this, which is super clunky. Then maybe I'll host Mattermost or some other service, and I'm going to productize so that I could actually put this thing in a box and ship it to you if you wanted it. And then we can get into maybe a launch of some sort. No freeform ramble, I've done enough of that, and thanks for watching. So if you liked this, of course, subscribe, join the email list, and remember, transparency and control leads to better systems for everyone. This PageKey, we have to take back tech. So thanks for joining me on this journey. See ya.